What's up guys, my name's Dychronic, your host on this COD Advanced Warfare video. In today's video, I'm going to be showing you my top 5 favorite Exo Survival maps. Now these maps are obviously the same as multiplayer, but this is based on solely on the fact of what I think is a good map for Exo Survival. It's the co-op mode in Advanced Warfare. So there's a lot of different criteria that I use to rate my maps and what I think to be a better map. Most of the reasons I consider a map better is if it has a bunch of different things, including cover from the air when the quad rotors come in, different places you can camp up against the enemies, as well as a nice circle around the map. Now many of the maps have really good circles because that's how they're based on. For multiplayer, there always has to be some type of symmetry, some type of one side versus the other side type of thing. So that's not really the biggest thing. It's just you have to find what you think is the best one. And really bad qualities would be places where there's basically no cover from the air, there's random walls, there's a bunch of different openings to different places, and the circle is just not as linear or is not as circular as you would like it, and it's kind of random and the paths interweave. So you're always, when you're going around the map, you want to be able to get somewhere where the enemy is not. If a bad map would just not let you be able to get away from the enemy and you'd keep colliding with them. So a good map is the one where you can actually keep getting away from them. Because usually my strategy when it comes to maps is I like to camp up in a little spot, and once it gets a little too hectic, I like to rotate to the other side of the map and then camp up in the spot there, or rotate back to the original spot. Really basically just get the enemies all up in my business, run away, come back, and then I get back to the thing. So without further ado, let's get into the maps. Coming in at number 5 on the list is Terrace. Now this map is actually one of those seaside maps. It's this big terrace or pavilion or whatever it's called. It's this really cool like rich person's house basically, and it's this big white buildings and there's ridges on top and cliffs and stuff. And the biggest reason I like this map is because of its verticality. Now there is a big center building which is also very important to me, but the biggest thing is really the verticality issue. So there's a top side and a bottom side. When you're doing a circle, when you can separate things like that, there's a bunch of different separation and gaps that creates enemies to have to go a long way around things and follow you around paths. So if you're going to be doing a circle around this thing, they have to be following you because these things are sectioned off. When they have to go uphill, they usually try to follow the path of least resistance, usually stairs, which really helps get you in those little areas, as well as there's the roof on that one side and then cover on the other side. It's really good cover to bounce between those two. Coming in at number 4 is Biolab. Now this is actually one of the first few maps I played. Co-op, and again, the whole reason I like this is the very good circle. Again, there's a big center mass area that the enemies just don't really like to go inside of, especially when you're going around in a circle, and they like to keep around the column. Now what I look for in maps is if there's a center column that the enemies try to stay away from and try to go around, and you basically have cover from that entire side. So if you're trying to like circle enemies around a map, keep them around the center column area, that you always have cover from them if you're trying to get around that corner, and you're always going around a corner and keeping yourself away from shots. And again, Biolab is just one of those maps, as well as the fact that it's kind of bright. I mean, that's kind of like a bad thing sometimes, but it is very easy to pick the enemies out from the background. So that's another really cool thing, as well as these rooftops with some good cover. Again, just bounce from one spot to the other. I like sitting on that one rooftop and bouncing between things. Coming in at number 3 is Detroit. Now this is one of the first maps you have unlocked. Again, I like to just have this nice spinning around. This one is kind of iffy in the way you circle around it. There's kind of a center column, but this isn't exactly a nice square or nice circle around the map. It's more of like a type of like L Tetris piece. And another reason I really like this map is because the little places you can camp are actually really good. And again, the enemies are forced into these pathways very easily. And again, there's actually a lot of good cover. So this one, the biggest thing for me on this one is good cover. So you can get away from those enemies in the air very easily. There's a lot of places indoors that you can get, as well as a bunch of different open streets and places that you can funnel people in hallways. So all around, this is just a good map on all fronts, but in essence, there's just a bit too many different locations that you can camp on this area, which kind of confuses some people a lot, as well as the fact that you don't want to be camping out in this area, because sometimes I think areas are pretty good and then I get totally bum rushed by spawns that I don't understand, and that's obviously kind of a drawback on an advantage, but nonetheless, I really like this map for survival, and it's actually a pretty good multiplayer map if you haven't really tried it. Coming in at number 2 is the map called Comeback. This is actually the map with the zombies Easter egg on it. If you haven't seen that video on it, you make sure to go check out that video previously. But basically, this map is the first map that I got to round 50 on. Previous times I tried Exo Exo Survival on solo. I was having a lot of problems, and I got to only like round 10 for the most part. This map is actually the map that I got to round 50 on. It was actually very, very impressive to me and myself, and it was a really big challenge, but I actually got to round 50, and I basically died on that round, because around 24, 25 at the end there is actually really, really difficult with those mechs and stuff. Another big reason I really like this map is just for the fact that it has, again, a lot of indoor areas. You can hide from those quad orders very easily, and the center column on this map is very, very beautiful. If you guys haven't seen it already, the map has this main center circle area. There's only entrance on 2 of the sides, and you can very, very easily keep around the corners, and there's a bunch of different sectioned off areas that keep it very, very easily for you guys to get around cover, keep away from the enemies, and keep that circle around the map. It's very, very easy, as well as a bunch of different camping locations, and all around just a very good map to look at. And you might have some fun watching the yellow cars just go by. One thing that this map is not good for is score streaks. There's not going to be a lot of places that you can use your score streak. There's a lot of indoor areas, but as long as you try to keep out in the open, you can't damage yourself with score streaks. You should be able to pick off a lot of really easy kills, as well as the fact that it's a very small map, so that those score streaks will actually do a lot better. And coming in at number 1 is the map Instinct. Many of you guys have actually seen my runs on this map. I got to 69 by accident. That was the round I got to on solo, and 71 on co-op with my friend Flavored. And we were just having such a blast with this map. Now, the reason why we like this map is because of all the reasons I put down for you, plus the fact of how open it is. Now, there's a lot of different things. Obviously, there's going to be air units that coming at you, but there's actually a lot of great places you can hide indoors, as well as one of the camping spots that I have is actually a fully indoor area. Now, the biggest thing I like about this, again, there's that center column. The enemies don't really like to go through it, but again, there's this type of strategy I use is funneling people into the cave. Now, I start at the bottom of the map, behind some really, really good cover, and it's kind of a little elevated, and the enemies are very, very much in the open the entire time. This is why it's such a good one. It's because the enemies are all out in the open. You have some good cover you can always hide behind, as well as the fact that it's up high, so they have to jump up to get you. And again, that just takes a little bit more time for them. You can always see them coming up, and just the ability to just sit there, and the back routes. The back routes are actually one of the coolest things too. You can actually easily dodge around the back routes, and they usually are never back there, so that's a very, very easy route because it's so elevated and it's a longer route, and they like to go around the route that's the least resistance. So again, just that back route is just so important. Be able to escape from the enemies, go around, and go to the cave where I like to camp up. There's some nice cover there, as well as the fact that since they're all at the bottom, they will always come to the shortest path and come towards the front of you, and they will never come behind. And again, there's going to be that exit in the back. You can just go all the way around. The people will never be there, and always go around, as well as the fact that that's some really good cover. And another good tip for the fact that the bottom side, for some reason, the mechs just decide not to go there. The mechs always spawn at the top if you're at the bottom, and then just decide to stay up top. They will never come down, so you can kill off all of the enemies and then wait for the mech, and then after the mech is the only one, then you can go to work and kill him off. Currently, my best round is actually on the map Defender. I didn't put the map in this rotation, and I like to kind of like a special recommendation to it. It is a pretty good map, but there is just a lot of different flaws to it, and we really had to push ourselves to do well at this map. And it is a tier 3 map, so it is more difficult than a lot of things. But I wanted to give an honorable mention to this map because Defender is actually a good map, but I just don't think it's better in the aspects that I've described as the other ones. Again, it has that center column idea as every other map has, but it's a little bit more open, and there's a lot of maps and a lot of things that can really hurt you, like the water and different things. And I got to around 106 with Flavor in a stream that I did recently, so I think that stream is posted in 2 parts if you ever wanted to see it. And I got like 200 in the world with it after a week. The game has been out for a week, so that's pretty cool, and you should definitely check that out. But other than that, that's pretty much the video for you guys today. Let me know in the comments down below what you think your favorite map is. If it's not Instinct, then you need to play Instinct. It's just so good map, and if you haven't seen how to do that map, again, I have a live stream of that map as well. It was one of my first live streams. It was, I think, released it on the Tuesday after the game came out, so make sure you go check that out. I got to round 69, completely accident, didn't even try, because all I saw was a 19-2. But anyways, again, that's the video. If you guys did like it, leave a like down below. It takes a lot of work to do these top 5s, and I really want to produce the best content for you guys, as well as subscribe for more COD Advanced Warfare content here on the channel. I've been your host, Dychronic, and I'll see you guys on the next video.